Hello and welcome to your Mining Disrupt news update for Friday, September 15th, 2023. As always, everything I say here should be taken for education and entertainment purposes only. No financial advice is given here. Do your own research. Also, if you're interested in joining with us as a sponsor, please reach out. We've got 3 stories to go through today. Qatar in El Salvador, Coinbase adding Lightning to the services, and a $500,000 Bitcoin mistake. Who that was and what happened just in the past few days has recently come to light. We'll be getting to all of that after the numbers. Here we are once again on TimeChainCalendar.com. In the top right-hand corner, we see an exchange rate for one shiny Bitcoin of $26,161. If you want to trade dollars for sats, you'll get yourself 3,823 sats per dollar. The on-chain fee transactions keep on creeping up, and we're now looking at a priority fee of 28 sats per VByte and an anytime fee of a somewhat reasonable 16 sats per VByte. I remember not that long ago they were down in the single digits. Let's hope they get back there soon. We're looking at an average block time of about as on point as possible of 10 minutes and 1 second, which means the next difficulty adjustment, assuming things hold, will be a downward shift of a measly 0.16%. The rolling hash rate for the last 14 days is right near that 400 exahash. We're looking at 394.3. And this one comes from Stacy Herbert over on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it these days. She says, Qatar is one of the richest countries in the world, and they now want to invest in El Salvador because President Bukele has transformed the economy into an emerging powerhouse for the region. El Salvador is on the right path. I could imagine, I don't know if this is the case, but I could imagine that Qatar is coming to El Salvador to see how in the world did you transform this country, turn it around in such a drastic fashion so fast. I'm not sure that Qatar needs to turn their country around in the same fashion, but they might be curious how that took place, what the process was, and hey, maybe this Bitcoin thing is worth getting into. It's going to be interesting to see what other countries get on the Bitcoin train in some form or fashion. You've got Oman doubling down on their Bitcoin mining. They've invested multiple millions. I think it's 1.3 billion into Bitcoin mining. They want to have 7% of the global hash rate in the coming years. You've got the Kingdom of Bhutan mining Bitcoin. You've got El Salvador that recognized Bitcoin as legal tender. So I don't know what's next on the horizon, but it will be interesting to see. Next up, we've got the story coming from Brian Armstrong, the main man at Coinbase. He says, the team did a great job digging into this, and we've made the decision to integrate Lightning. Bitcoin is the most important asset in crypto, and we're excited to do our part to enable faster/cheaper Bitcoin transactions. We'll take some time to integrate, so please be patient. Bitcoin is the most important asset in crypto. Period. That's end of story right there. That's what it is. That's what I've been saying. That's what other people have been saying. There are other things that exist. Yes, absolutely. But Bitcoin is the single most important one. And most all of those other ones will go away. I think last I saw there was something like 30,000 crypto projects that exist. And that's insane. I mean, it's truly insane. Most of them, I don't know how many of them actually exist now, but have come into being, I should say. 30,000 other crypto. Most of them, let's be honest, are scams. They're flat out scams. There's no denying that at all. Gary Gensler was at a hearing recently talking about how most of crypto, or I don't know that he says most of crypto, but he did say that a lot of crypto, or that crypto as a whole, is rife with scams and fraud. And that's true. That if you've got 30,000, I don't know what to call them, projects, projects, sure, let's go with that exist. Most of them are definitely fraud, scams, grifts, ways for people to try and get rich quick by scamming your grandma or your friend or your buddy because they don't know better. Your promises, oh, if you buy in now, you'll get your bags pumped by other idiots along the way. And that is not what anybody wants to see. That is an honest, true, active participant in the Bitcoin space. That is not what I want to see. That's not what anybody that I know that is in this space wants. People that truly understand Bitcoin want you to only adopt a Bitcoin standard. They want you to understand, first and foremost, why Bitcoin is so important. I actually would not advocate for anybody to get any amount of Bitcoin other than, I don't know, like 50 or $100 before they understood what this thing is. You shouldn't be investing in something before you understand. That's why I say at the outset of all of these that this is for entertainment and education purposes only. Do your own research. Now, if you consider watching this video part of your research, that's great, but you should definitely go outside of what I say here. Read the Bitcoin Standard. Listen to people like Preston Pish. Listen to the conversations that Lex Friedman had with Saifedean Amos and Michael Saylor. Watch Michael Saylor and Robert Breedlove's 20-something odd series on what money is. You have to understand how money works, why it is such a fundamental thing to humanity, and why Bitcoin fixes basically everything that fiat money has broken. Now, to bring this all full circle, back to Brian Armstrong saying that Bitcoin is the most important asset in crypto, yes, all the other things are nonsense. All the other things are garbage, and basically every single other one is not decentralized, meaning that they also have people in control. So if the politicians say, hey, we don't like how this is working, they can go to one of the people at the crypto whatever project and say, shut it down, do this, increase the supply, whatever they want. But that can't happen with Bitcoin. So for the past few days, it came to light that somebody overpaid, to say the least. Somebody spent $510,000, but $500,000 to send less than $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. People weren't sure how this happened, but as this says here over at Bitcoin Magazine, in a surprising turn of events, PayPal, the global online payments giant, reportedly overpaid a staggering $500,000, a little bit over that, on a Bitcoin transaction fee. The incident, initially thought to be a fat-fingered mistake, has now been traced back to an issue within PayPal's processing system, according to a report by Mempool's Mononautical. When I first read this news, my heart went out to the person. I was imagining it was an individual, they made a mistake, maybe they had a sizable stack, but maybe not. Even if you had a massive stack of thousands of coins, paying $500,000 to send a tiny pittance is not something that feels good. And it is so amusing to me that PayPal, a global online payments giant, messed this up. I guess this just goes to show that you have to be absolutely careful, because while this did happen to PayPal, it seems, I don't know that there's absolute confirmation on this, but it does seem almost certain that this is the case. It just goes to show that you need to be extra careful when you're sending some Bitcoin around. If you're moving stuff around, triple, double, quadruple check that you're not paying an enormous fee. Now, you might not have 19 odd Bitcoin to send to do this kind of a mistake, but you wouldn't want to even pay 1,000,000 sats to send 2,000,000 sats. Even though that's different, orders of magnitude different, you wouldn't want to do that. So triple, double, quadruple check your transactions before you send them. And with that, I hope you have a great weekend. Until next time.